Welcome, everyone, to the Unfiltered Talk podcast, episode 15. I'm here with my boy, Keanu. Keanu, say what's up, bro.
Yes, sir. What's up, y'all? My name's Nanu Cuts, and yeah, man, I'm excited for this.
Dude, I'm excited for this episode, bro. This has been a few weeks in the making, bro. I was sitting here like, dude, need to plan these episodes out. Get my boy
real.
Keanu out here so he can talk some
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, for real, man. For real. I'm waiting.
Real quick, Keanu, kind of explain a little bit about what you do nowadays, and then like your history with as a college athlete, where you're from, especially. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So me and my family originally from Long Beach, California. I ended up signing to BYU in 2016 and got here in 2017. So my whole family moved out, and so yeah, ever since then, we've been here, and I played football at BYU. Got there in 2017, left in 22. And, ever since then, I just pursued my barber career, so, yeah.
You went to La Mirada High School, right?
Yep.
Were you a pretty highly recruited out of high school, right? Come on, dog. Don't lie. Come on, dude.
Something like that, bro. Yeah, I was pretty highly recruited. I was, like, top 10 or something in California, and, I was committed to USC for, like, my whole senior year, like 9 months. Until the whole Steve Sarkisian situation happened. So I had 2 weeks before signing day to go on visits, and it kind of went from, 7 offers to 30 within like 4 days. So, yeah, it was a crazy time for me, yep.
That's kind of the trend is like if you get one good offer, they'll all start following.
Rolling.
Yeah, I think so Coach Kalani was the first to offer me when he was over at Oregon State. He was the defensive coordinator. And I remember I just sent him my high school film from junior year, and I was like, bro, please, bro.
Dang.
And he messaged me back. He's like, dude, let's hop on a call. And we want to offer you. And next thing you know, all the other offers start rolling through,
Dang.
So after football, what kind of adjustments did you have to make to, being a normal
in
working
society.
class?
Yeah. I think that was the biggest, probably the biggest shock of my life. A lot of people don't realize, especially athletes, and a lot of, former athletes don't talk about it, but leaving, for 5 years, you lived a certain way. You had this certain, like, aura. You walked around in the gear, and people knew who you are, to just being a regular person of society. And it's a humbling experience for sure. But it's a different world, I think it's something hard to adjust to that a lot of people don't talk about. You go from having this whole fan base behind you, and unless you do it right, you go from being, somebody a part of a big organization to being, solo dolo. Like, so I think that was the hardest transition for me. But we figure out.
I mean, you had already started cutting hair in the locker room, though, right? Like,
yeah.
you would hook up some of the boys with cuts. Was that kind of your introduction, or did you start cutting hair beforehand? And I was like, dude, I want this to be my career.
Yeah. So I told this story before, but I started cutting in 2015. So right before my senior year, and it's a funny story, but basically, like, my dad, he wanted to take my 2 little brothers to get a cheap haircut at a Vietnamese spot. It was like $10. So, and this one comb overs were in, so they asked for comb overs. And then this, like, lady who barely spoke English was cutting their hair. Bro, 3 hours later, they're finished. And then we go to the checkout line, and then she just, like, goes off on my dad. And she's like, no more comb over, it take too long. And my dad just went off on her. But ever since then, that's when I figured, I was like, dude, like, if I could help my parents in any way, take a bill off their hands and make them not stress out about nothing, then, let me try it. And once I picked up the clippers, I was like hooked. And I was cutting my brothers like every 4 or 5 days. And it kind of carried on. When I came to BYU, like, a lot of people were like, oh, you cut hair from Cali? But little they didn't know, I was like only like a year in. So I was charging like $5-10 in the locker room. But it was
experimenting.
It was
you
cool.
was experimenting.
Yeah, for sure. Because it was like, it gave me, like, I don't want to sound like a fat dude, but it made me enough money to get, like, gas station snacks and, like, McDonald's and gas and stuff. So it's a cool side hustle. But, yeah, I've been doing it almost 10 years now.
Damn, that's tight, bro. Yeah, I remember when haircuts used to be $12 at the barbershop, bro.
For real, man.
Like, we used to go to this hole in the wall in California, in Tustin, and none of them spoke English. There was some Hispanic guys and then one Asian guy, Lee.
Yeah.
And that was my dude, Lee, bro. I was like, I don't want no one cutting my hair except for Lee, right?
Yeah.
Who cuts your hair?
Usually it was me for like 7, 8 years. But once I got into the shop, yeah, I just have. I first started off with like starting in, having some other barbers finish. But now any of the barbers that are free, I trust my boys in the shop. Shout out Uno's Barbershop, all my boys there, and yeah, I just get cut by there.
That's time. And you're working there currently, right?
Yeah, I'm a barber over there. Yep.
That's time. So let's kind of talk a little bit about your background culturally. So Samoan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any other mixes in there, bro?
Nah, just full
Straight
Samoan. Yep.
Were your parents were they first generation Americans, or were they the ones that
That moved out here.
here?
Yeah, they're first generation Americans. Yeah, so both sets of parents, my grandparents moved out here from Samoa.
Did you grow up culturally Samoan, or was it more? Because I know, like for my family, when my grandfather, his dad brought his family out.
Yeah.
My great grandfather brought them out to Hawaii, and he was all about, we're Americans now. Like we're not Samoan. Like all that cultural stuff we leave behind. Was that kind of your similar experience to you?
No, not really. I think my family, even now, we're pretty like super rooted in our culture, but at the same time, there were a lot of adjustments that my grandparents on both sides knew that they had to make, and I think that's why both sets of my family, I think they push school so much. They're one of those like first generation people moving here. They're one of those pushing education and working and get good grades, because when they moved out here, that was the one thing that they lacked that could have helped them progress, but they couldn't really speak English. They didn't have high school diplomas, and so yeah, I think they were those kind of grandparents.
So what kind of things do you love about the culture of Samoa, and what things do you think need to change as we adapt to American culture?
I think like just everything like surface level with the culture of being Polynesian, especially Samoan. Putting God first. That's like our mantra. I think being cultured at all in any culture is, it's special, it's unique. I love the family aspect. I love the loving spirit, the respectable, everything that comes with being Samoan, I love. I think the only thing I don't like too much that I feel like we could adjust is the understanding of change. I feel like Samoans, especially because it's such an old school way of thinking, it's kind of that, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So it's hard to venture out into new careers if it's not, putting on cleats or picking up a mic or a pencil. So I feel like that's kind of one of my goals right now is to push that, like you could be a barber and still be successful. You could change lives. I think so adjusting and understanding, there's a time and a place for everything. And we're in a era nowadays that, things need to change, and that's okay,
It's that OG mindset, bro. I recently went to a Tongan wedding. Obviously, Tonga and Samoa are different, but some similar aspects there. And, because at a wedding, it's all about the bride and the groom. It's about them making these covenants to each other. And in the LDS background, it's about, being sealed forever. Yeah. So it's a very important moment. But those things can kind of get hijacked sometimes by the cultural expectations of, I got uncles coming up to me and say, hey, give me the mic. Yeah. When we start off, I'm going to go ahead and open this up and stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
No. Hey, bro, Uncle Sione, go ahead and sit down and enjoy the wedding, bro. You don't got to represent the culture like that. You know what I mean? Or, you get, everybody wants to represent their family with the taulungas and stuff. Yeah. And obviously, dude, super special ceremony to be able to dance and to present money to the bride and the groom.
But after 10 of them.
Bro, when I say there was a line outside the door, I was sitting there, I'm like, all right, we need to start. Yeah. And so I talked to the DJ, and the DJ was over there, hey, I'm going to cut them off. Yeah. I'm going to let them dance for 30 seconds, and then they're out of here, you know what I mean? But it's kind of one of those things where, like, you hold on to the culture more than you hold on to, like, almost the respect that you have for the people. Yeah, for yourself and for your family, you know what I mean? Because obviously the best thing about being American is you can take the best things of the culture that you came from, and then add that to the melting pot. Yeah, you don't hold on to the OG stuff, the stuff that doesn't serve a purpose. You know what I mean? Yeah. Is that kind of same?
No, for sure. And I think I laugh because I always think about my dad. So like I said, he's like the first he's part of the generation that was first born here, but his whole life he fought the culture. Not even fought it. He just like he grew up in Linwood, California, like back in the 80s and 90s,
Linwood, bro.
where he's like walking miles to school, like he's on the streets, like, you know what I mean? Not like that, but like he's in the urban community, and he goes home to like my grandparents being at church for 10 hours on a weekday, and he's just like, dude, this is BS, you know, like the church is taking all our money. We're broke. You know, my dad and his brothers, they had to steal to get what they wanted, only because my grandparents gave so much money to the church. But that's like a cultural thing. Like I said, mumu leotua for Samoa, that's put God first. And yeah, so he raised me with the aspect of like, sometimes when I was tired, didn't want to go to church. My mom's super like, how would you say, like, she's super old school, so she's like church and Samoa. And so when I would wake up and cry on Sunday mornings, my dad's like, he don't want to go, don't let him go. So my dad's like super like American realism kind of, which is what you're talking about. So I kind of grew up with understanding, you know, both sides. And I kind of, I want to say like I'm kind of flowing in the gray area, but I'm strong on how I feel about things. So if certain things that I feel like don't fly, or like if I were to have my wedding, it wouldn't be this way. Like if for sure not going to be like 10 Siva Samoas. Like I'm not doing nothing. I don't care if 10 people show up to the wedding. For me, like you said, it's about the 2 people getting married, not about this faifeau, this auntie, this uncle. Like I feel like there's certain things like, all right, bro. And I think it was harder for me once I started getting into it more in college at BYU, taking Samoan classes and getting more into our culture, getting a tribal sleeve, trying to understand everything, because it's like, if you do this, like you got to do everything that comes with it. And I feel like I said, like we're in the position in the generation where we could turn the tables and be like, yeah, I respect it this way, but this is how far I'm gonna take it. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that, bro. Like, especially when it comes to getting like the tataos and the tribals and stuff. It's at least have a basic understanding of the culture and a basic level of respect for it, to where, okay, I want to learn the history behind it. You know, the cultural significance of these things. Yeah. Like, man, when you go up to guys and you ask them, hey, bro, what does your tribal mean? Yeah. So like, that's the one from Moana.
Yeah, for real. You ever see Maui?
You seen Maui, bro?
That's the one guy I didn't want to be. I knew for sure the first thing I blasted was my last name, because that's always, you know, that's just what I feel like that's all me. That's my whole life, just been my last name. Then after that, just surrounded it with the Samoan patterns. And if anybody asks me today, I just say it's a representation of my family, my culture. Ain't nothing deeper than that. I'm not, you know, this is for when I used to fish and stuff. I'm not doing none of that, bro. But, you know, at least having a basic understanding of culture, and like I said, understanding that there's a lot that come with it. So, you know, when it's time to Siva Samoa, you know, don't be hiding in the back with your tribal sleeve. You know,
no, that's fine.
You know, at least, but you don't have to be like, you know, being the Makai in front. You know, you don't have to be that. But when it's time to do fouls, like the little stuff, like, dude, do it. You know, this is our culture.
Yeah, no, I agree, bro. Yeah, I agree. Definitely, it's important to pay homage to those things, because like ultimately the culture and our people are what have led us to like the successes that we have in America. You know what I mean? We have our families who sacrifice for us, you know, bring their families over to an unknown land where they don't really know if, you know, we're going to make money. We just know that there's this dream, this American dream out there somewhere, you know. So I definitely agree there. What do you think about Haulis or Palangis wearing tribal tattoos?
Like I said, I think if there's a basic understanding of how things are when you jump into a culture, then it's cool. Like, I think in a way it's like they're not. Well, I haven't met one person like who's not Samoan that got like a tribal sleeve that didn't have a little understanding of the culture. Yeah. So as long as it's respectable, then you know, I mess with it. I think it goes deeper when you get like the pe'as, like traditionally done. Yeah. So that's why I shout out to like Fred Frost. I seen his perspective on it, and he's like, you know, even if it's a Meuli or Palanga that's getting the pe'a, don't look at him. Like, look at the person who did it, because that person had to be, you know, he had to approve, but they have the right to approve who gets it. So what's the understanding, you know? And I feel like at the end of the day, that's all it's about, just having an understanding of it.
No, I agree. That's a good take there. It's the artist's work, you know, and so like they're ultimately the ones that are kind of laying the groundworks for the culture, you know.
For sure.
So going into more about your career as a barber, so I seen some pictures, bro. I seen you cutting hair for like some famous people. Yeah. Like, talk about your experience and how cool it's been to be able to have those opportunities as a barber.
Yeah, I think growing up, like I said, like I did barbering because it was fun. Obviously, the NFL was the dream. I came to BYU. And I never noticed it, but now looking back, like I always found a chance to pick up the clippers. Like you always see me in the locker room, like cutting somebody in the bathroom, or I was doing it off campus at my parents' garage. But the goal was always to make it to the league. And so when I fell short of that goal and football wasn't going well, and I left school and tried to do my own thing, I was like, dude, like there was something in me growing up that told me like I was like destined for success, but especially like it was just more gravitated to NFL. And now having like friends that, you know, will fly me out to like the locker rooms and training facilities and even cutting famous people, like I feel like this is my version of success that I didn't know. And also like I always tell people like I feel like I was destined to be in NFL locker rooms, and I still am now, just not in the way I thought it was. You know what I mean? So I'm super grateful for barbering, and I'm a true believer in everything happens for a reason. So I feel like I'm right where I need to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So who was I saw that you cut, was it NBA Youngboy?
Yeah, Youngboy.
That you cut? How did that opportunity come, and how, like, what was it like being able to be surrounded by someone who does like share that success in like hip hop culture?
Yeah. So yeah, shout out our boy Mo Unusoa. When he left football, he joined a security company that picked up his contract, and basically Mo was telling me about it one day, and I was cutting his hair. And that same night I cut his hair, he went into work. And the next day he texted me like, hey, Youngboy just approached me, asked who cut my hair. Like, would you be down to cut him? I'm like, hell yeah, what you mean? Like, hell yeah, I'm down, you know? So it was a long process too. A lot of people think I just like pulled up, but you know, I had to get because he was obviously on house arrest, so I had to get a whole background check and socials and everything. But once it went through, like, it was like a dream come true. And, but like I said, like, you know, me just being a barber, you know, it took me to places I never thought I would before. Like, I never thought I'd be ever meeting NBA Youngboy. And we grew up, like, in high school on this stuff. Like, you know, and it honestly wasn't all that I thought it was going to be at first. Like, it was, like, minimal conversations. It was, like, at first I was like, bro, this guy's a weirdo. Like, dude, what the hell? But the money's good, so I'm gonna still keep going because I have mouths to feed and stuff. Yeah. And then slowly, we just grew a big like relationship with each other. And it's weird to say, like even now, but we became close, me and Youngboy. And it became times where like I would drive to his spot and I'll cut his hair, and he'll ask me like, "What are you doing the rest of the day?" And I'll tell him like, "Bro, I got a couple appointments at the shop." He'll straight up be like, "Man, how many appointments you got? How much you charge? If I pay you for all of their haircuts, you want to just chill and play Madden all day?" I was like, hell yeah. So it's times like me and him will hang out for like 5 hours just playing video games, and like he'll have a chef make me food. And at one point he asked me to be his assistant, and I was like, all right, bro, that's kind of like, all right, I don't know about all that, but yeah, it was dope. That experience was dope, and that honestly helped me approach all these other celebrities that I have been cutting because I wasn't nervous. Like, when I cut Youngboy, bro, I was, like, shaking, sweating, like, shivering. But now anybody I meet, it's just like, bro, you're just another human, and I'm just doing my job, so.
What was more nerve-wracking, bro, playing on LaVelle Edwards or cutting a celebrity's hair?
I would say probably my first. No, honestly, I don't think anything would beat my first game playing. Yeah, which was that time in Wisconsin.
Oh, against Wisconsin.
Yeah, that was my first game starting, my first game traveling. Man, mind you, remember, like 2 weeks before that, I was a DN.
Yeah. You got switched?
Yeah, I got switched. And then 2 weeks after getting switched to O-line, I'm playing at Wisconsin against Jonathan Taylor. Like, they were the number 7 team in the nation, dude. Nothing will ever beat that, bro, ever. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just running around hitting people.
Bro, that is crazy. I can only imagine. Obviously, I was on my mission at that point. But,
yeah.
Because that was the 2017 year?
18.
2018,
yeah.
That's right. Sorry, the 2017 year. We don't talk about that
yet.
Yeah,
we
right?
don't talk about that here.
No, that's cool though, bro. So in terms of your plan for your career as a barber, are there other plans that you want to get into, like other careers you're trying to explore, or is barbering something that you want to, pretty much die doing?
Yeah, for sure. Barbering will be the main focal point of any, business or social media venture I take. Barbering will always be the center of it. Obviously, like, it's going to come to a time where I can't cut hair no more, and that's when I'll probably go into the more like, barbershops and have people cover me. But as long as my hands could still move and I could still stand there for an hour, then I'm gonna always cut hair. But besides that, I have a lot of things in the works, social media wise. Shout out to my boys, but me and my brother-in-law, We have something in the works with YouTube right now. I'm not going to say nothing yet. We're still in the works, but I'm super excited for that venture. We got a lot of like big things coming for that. I'm still doing my content. We took the summer off, but we're back. We're coming. We're going to come stronger than before. I got a clothing line coming out like any minute now. I've been talking to it for a while, but like I said, everything happens for a reason. So I'm taking my time. I want to make sure it's perfect. So yeah, I have my clothing line coming out. It's called Stay the Course, Big Dog. And that's in collaboration with Favai, the owner of Island Avenue. So he's manufacturing my stuff. Other than that, I'm still, on the road. I'm still traveling as much as I can, trying to get backstage to, anybody. I really want to start signing contracts with people to cut their hair.
Be long term.
Yeah. Long term or short term, just having contracts where I'm flying out every, couple weeks or something. So that's something I'm trying to push right now a lot is being a mobile barber. Yeah.
So, and I just want to paint a picture for those who will be watching, but obviously barbers don't make a whole lot, especially if you're in Utah County.
Yeah, for sure.
But what was the jump in terms of, money that you made to provide for your family after you kind of started to see the success coming through?
Yeah, it was slow and steady, but like I said, everything happens for a reason to where it felt right. Like, there's still times where we're down. There's times where we're up, but once I hopped in, because before, dude, when I left BYU, I told myself, like, I'm going independent. I'm going to train myself for pro day, no agent. But me and my wife moved in together, and I was like, damn, but I need to get a job. So I'm going to take the 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. shift. After, I'm going to go train. Bro, that job, like, took everything out of me to where, like, I just went in deep depression and everything, was barely making any money. And like I said, like, that's why I said, like, barbering, like, saved my life. Because it literally, I was there, laying there one night before work, and I was just praying to God, like, I'm going to give it all to you right now. I really don't know, like, what to do. Like, I'm at the end. I can't provide for my family. I can't be the man of the house I want to be. What do I do? And that's when I woke up and I had a call from Youngboy to cut his hair. And I was like, if this isn't a sign, what is? So that was like, I would say that's my rock bottom moment. And ever since then, I just been rising. But it was still a struggle. Like, I was in the barbershop and I was still working security. I picked up a gig running a security company in Salt Lake in the clubs. So I would like work 8-9 hours in the shop, change my shirt, drive to Salt Lake, work another 8-9 hours. So there was days where I was working like 16 to 18 hours a day. And that was especially during the time my wife was pregnant. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but in Utah, it's not mandatory for companies to give maternity pay. So that was a hard time for me, but as the man of the house and like I said, God's plan, like I knew I had to do something. So what fueled me was my wife, my son, our house, and just thinking back to where I was like a couple months before. So, it's always a work in progress. We're always working every day. I feel like everybody should always be moving. But I'm definitely grateful and blessed that, God has a plan for me, and I'm just staying the course, really.
That's tight, bro. I think that's ideally, like, you got to look back at where you were and be like, I'm not going back there, bro. You know what I mean? I look back at my experience at BYU and, like, barely paying rent, barely being able to pay for groceries and stuff, and I'm like, I don't ever want to feel like that again, bro.
Yeah.
I want things to be taken care of. Speaking of BYU, let's go ahead and so you played you came in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about that season. That season was absolute trash. Started and played in the 2018 season.
Yeah.
And was played a prominent role in some of the successes that they had there.
For sure.
When did you I guess talk about your experience at BYU, bro. What do you think overall?
Yeah, it was dope. Everybody asked me, like, where I'm from and why did I come to BYU, because I'm not LDS, and it's an LDS school. I could have probably went to any other school in the nation at that point, but me choosing BYU was because of my parents. They woke me up signing day morning and said, it's your choice, but we feel like BYU is the best place for you. And that's why I said I feel like that's the most mature decision I ever made, because I literally did not want to go to BYU. But because my parents seen something that I didn't, I realized that I just bit the bullet, really. And but my experience was great. Like, I will forever be a Cougar for life, whatever you want to call it. More so for like the culture and the boys I play with, like the teams I was on. But I always tell people, like, being non-LDS going to BYU, it was dope because I feel like I went in with the right mindset. Like, obviously, there's other non-members on the teams who fought every rule, honor code. I'm like, bro, we literally signed a contract to say, like, we are following the honor code. Just accept it, Like, why don't you just go somewhere else then? Oh, this is my biggest offer. All right then, bro. You better start shaving, bro. Yeah, I'm like, bro, why are you complaining? So I kind of carry myself like a LDS member, and I feel like it helped to make the best experience for me as a non-LDS member because, like, it's like, dude, you just gonna fight your whole career here. But it also helped too. It had its perks. Like, everybody talks about religion classes. Like, that was the easiest classes for me because I just pulled the non-member card. So instead of writing a 5-page essay about DNC, I'm writing about like 2 pages about what do you think about the DNC? I'm like, hell yeah. But yeah, besides the schooling and everything, like, my experience with BYU is just like everybody asked, like, when it came down to, in between the lines with the cleats on, like, it was just football. Like anywhere else in the country, football was football. And I think the worst part of it is understanding there's a transition from high school to college when you're transitioning into the business side of football. And I think it's kind of my fault because I had expectations, BYU is a church school, maybe a little more forgiving.
Yeah.
But nah, bro, it's not like that BYU at all. Like, people think just because it's church, no. Politics is politics. Bullshit is bullshit. Like, it's just what it is, man. You're just a commodity at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's funny that you bring that up because I've brought that up in past episodes with other players and with some other athletes. I've just told them, like, dude, it's not special. Like, BYU's not.
Yeah.
I got to be careful about how I say this, right? Because, like, obviously BYU is the Lord's school and stuff, and we hold on to that belief very dearly and tightly. But it suffers from the same things that any other college would.
Yeah.
Politics,
facts.
Bullshit. You know what I mean?
Favoritism.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Or even the way that, like, the NIL went down, like.
Don't get me started on that.
Bro, I'm sitting here like, there's no way that at a school that has such a prominent presence in Utah doesn't have money to be able to provide the players more resources so that they don't have to go and buy groceries. They don't have to, like, the sport should be able to provide those things so that they can ensure the greatest probability of success for the team.
Yeah,
right?
Facts.
Talk about some of the struggles as a college athlete, bro.
Bro, I think, like, I'm kind of grateful now. Like, I'm not getting NIL deals myself, but my little brother who's in college is. But thinking back to, like, what happened when we first got there, January 2017, what we walked into was like, dude. And I just want to say this, like, on my visit, they never show me campus. The first time I seen campus was first day of school. And I'm walking, I'm like, all right, where's campus? You see those 100 stairs? Yeah, you got to walk those. I'm like, bro, what? I'm walking around campus like, where am I? But yeah, football itself was just in a horrible place. And I know for a fact that's not how it was everywhere else. Like, I took my visits, like, everywhere else, and I'm like, bro, we literally had one fridge in the locker room. And if the core power ran out, you didn't get nothing for the day. Yep. All you had was nutrition. Then it got to a point where we only had one swipe a day. Like, we were literally eating one time a day. Other than that, we're eating McDonald's, like, eating at home if you had a home. Like, like, do you feel me? Like, dude, it was such a struggle. But at the same time, like, we were blinded to being grateful that we're in this position. And I wish, like, I'm still grateful we had that mindset, but I wish we didn't. I wish we demanded more because they did have more. And they could not sit there and tell me they didn't because we got the bare minimum, bro. We could barely get gloves from the equipment room. Like, little things. I'm like, bro, there's no way we only eat one time a day. We have one fridge in the locker room, but we sell out the stadium every Saturday. Yeah. It just didn't make sense. Like, put some cougar tails in the fridge. I'll eat them. But there was just nothing for us to eat. Something. And so, like, every little thing that got added on, we're like, oh, damn, it's a big thing. But in the grand scheme of things, bro, we was struggling, bro. It felt like we was in a glorified JC kind of way. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm grateful for it, but yeah, it's not all sunshines and rainbows when we first got there, bro.
I feel like it's not an attack on BYU as an institution. Mm-hmm. It's more so just, if they want us to succeed and provide money for the school, give us more resources so that we're able to. For sure. You know what I mean? Because my biggest thing is, like, BYU has the resources and the backing to be a Power 5, you know what I mean, like a prominent school, like fighting for conference championships in these big conferences. For sure. But we're not, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that, we're we're BYU. We're the we handle things
Yeah.
differently, right? And it's like it's kind of just arbitrary, like purposeless, like things that like the administration are doing in order to protect the image of BYU rather than just pushing for BYU to be better.
And that's the thing, honestly, and I'm being straight up, I think it's a little hypocritical. When it comes to being humble and money and, how we groom ourselves, let's follow the church rules and be super humble about it. But when it comes to like, injuries and playing time and oh no, that's just football. Oh, now it's just football, But those little things can help, like the NIL money. I feel like honestly, like I'm speaking outside looking in, but I feel like NIL should have been something that they took advantage of. Because obviously we're at a disadvantage with, having the honor code and things like that. Obviously we get the players who we want, who will follow the rules. But realistically, if we want to compete with these other schools, we have to offer something else because we're taking something away from the recruits. So, like, bro, we got some bread somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, why can't we be the school that's pulling up and this and that, like getting deals, this and that? But I'm grateful for where the program is now. I heard the boys are making some good money now. I heard they're eating a lot more than we
Clearly,
were.
brother.
Yeah,
Some
for
boys
real.
eating good, bro.
And I'm super happy for them. I'm always rooting for them, but it's just like I just hope this isn't the end. I hope there's more progressive because it's only going to help the program. And at the end of the day, like for me, I don't know. A lot of people have their reasons why they go to football, play football at D1 or extend their football career after high school. And for me, it was to feed my family. Like if it was a way out, that was our only way out that we knew. So I'm going to make it to the league. I'm going to take care of buy my parents a house, this and that. But a couple injuries just stopped me in my tracks. And now I spent 5 years playing football and I don't have no, job experience. I don't have this and that. And I have nothing to show for it. Now at least the kids, like while they're playing, they can make something off of, based off how they perform.
Right.
And I felt like before I played well enough to get something. I could have got something out of it. But all I have now is just principles and experiences, which is, don't really pay the bills.
And some cool gear, bro. Yeah, got some cool gear,
some gear, I guess,
No, bro. That's such an important aspect, like, because when you're healthy and when you're contributing, everybody loves you, right?
For sure.
But once you start going through injuries, once you start going through the bullshit, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, people start passing you on the hallway. Don't say what's up no more.
Facts.
Or coaches stop saying hi to you. It's one of those things where like. Only if you're useful to me and me keeping my job am I going to respect you and let you know where you stand. You know
Facts.
what I mean? Man, it's so frustrating to go into my junior and then ultimately my senior year and still feel like I still don't even know where I stand, bro.
Yeah.
Like, these coaches are sitting here telling me, oh, yeah, you're still our guy. Yeah, we want you here.
But you're going to tight end.
Well, bro, for me, because I got switched over to defense.
I mean, DN, yeah.
I got switched over to defense, and I was playing defensive end. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, like, hey, go hop in with the D tackles.
Yeah.
Dog, I am 250.
Yeah.
250 after eating two big meals, bro.
Yep.
Like, you want me to hop in with the D tackle? Yeah, put on the weight. I just feel like you'd be a good fit there. And really, all it is like they just don't want to develop you. They don't want to put in the time to have to show you how to do the job right. And even when I did go to D tackle, bro, I'm sitting there like, okay, who's gonna teach me how to do this, bro? You know what I mean? Can't be doing this gather step.
Bro, who are you telling? Like I said, like I played DN my whole life. Like I was highly recruited, like all this and that. And then I finally come here and they did the same thing to me. They said, we feel like you're better off at D tackle. I'm like, bro, what? All right. Because the D tackles I see you have is over 300. Like I'm only like 280, 275. But so I bit the bullet. And I'm telling you, like 2018, that fall camp before they switched, like while they switched me over to O-line, that was probably my best. Like I felt like great. Knew all the plays, was stunned. I was winning battles, one-on-ones. I was like, bro, at least I'll get second string. At least I'll be a second string D tackle. And then a couple weeks later, we think it's best for you to go to O-line. And I literally went home crying to my dad, like, dude, I don't want to play no more. I'm not playing that fat boy, nerdy, weird position. Like, bro, I'm not doing that.
No swag.
No swag, knee braces. I'm like, bro, I'm not doing it. And my dad just literally told me, like, just be grateful you're still getting paid every month and you're on scholarship. So just roll with the punches. Just do it and see what happens. And 2 weeks later, gratefully enough, like, I first got my start. And I was started ever since. And I'm super grateful for it. But a lot of times I feel like just how you, like, and I feel like they can't tell me I wasn't good enough because I could have been playing that year as a D tackle, but I think it just came to like going back to like politics and favoritism and scholarships. They even that. A lot of people don't talk about the scholarship situation, but 2020 was a bad year for a lot of kids because of the COVID year. After 2020,
The numbers, bro.
yeah, the numbers, and they didn't think like we knew or heard about it. I think they didn't because literally they sat all of us down, whoever had a past surgery, and they said, medical retire. Like they literally told me that, and I fought them, bro. I told them like, what do you mean medical? Oh, you probably won't play the same again. I'm like, who told you that? The trainers. I'm like, I know for damn sure they didn't because they're telling me every day like, dude, you're doing great, but they didn't understand that we knew. You're behind our numbers because you have missionaries that are promised scholarships. Now they're coming back, but all the seniors won't leave because they need to have an extra year. And it's BS like that. I'm like, dude, just be straight up with everybody. Like, don't tell this guy because he had a labrum surgery that he will never be able to play football again. You know what I'm saying?
You're not going to be the same. Oops.
Yeah. Like, bro, just tell me you want Jacob from Kansas Mission, like, to come back and you know what I mean? Like, just be straight up. But it's just a lot of BS like that. That's just part of BYU. I'm not BYU, but just college football in general.
I feel like they had they didn't want to have the hard conversations with certain players, so they chose the easiest route, and that was to go for players who were injured.
Yeah.
Go for players who, maybe they didn't see them fitting into their scheme or their whatever, their offense or defense. And I'm like, dude, like, be a man.
Yeah.
Own your shit. You know what I mean? Like I remember the 2022 season. I'm like sitting here. Because I was stealing reps from the defensive line in order to show them that like what I got, you know what I mean? And coaches kept telling me, dude, stay on scout team, bro, stay on scout team. Walked my ass right over and stayed playing them, and like that got me to travel to games because they saw that I wanted it. But for some reason, bro, there was just some like obstacle that I could not hop over.
Like they already made up in their minds, like, we don't want them no more.
No, exactly. I mean? It was almost like they were like. They're sitting there like, okay, we just want him to seem like he's a part of the team. Like, he's
make him happy.
Make him happy, get him to collect his check. And they took my scholarship, and I'm like, okay, so why am I even
What's
here?
the whole point? Yeah.
No, but we still want you here, bro. You know what I mean? It's a, I don't know. It was a lot of like lack of accountability and stuff. And
for sure.
And again, this happens at all schools.
Yeah, it's
right?
not. We're just talking about what happened in our experiences.
In our experience, yeah, and because BYU is portrayed as the Lord's school, right?
Yeah.
We have general authorities, church leaders coming and visiting us. Doesn't mean
it's forgiving. Yeah, it's not that forgiving, bro. When it comes in between the lines and we talking about numbers and money and scholarship and serious stuff, all of a sudden all that church stuff goes out the window. And it's more, respect to it. Like business is business. But at the end of the day, when you're holding somebody's, they literally have somebody's future in their hands that they can manipulate. And I feel like that's why I'm so grateful for the transfer portal. I'm so grateful for NIL deals. Anything that could give the players independency, I'm all for it. Because at the end of the day, I know they're kids, but it's their future. Because after you throw a kid in, through the fire and they come out burnt, those same coaches, recruiters, or whatever, they could just go to the next school and do the same thing.
Exactly.
But those kids you burned, they're gonna be burned forever. And I feel like a lot of people don't pay attention to that. So any way a kid could be independent, I'm all for it. And like going back to what you said, like the people they kind of target was like injured people. A lot of times they don't understand that. Like when they started to pursue that narrative that you should medical retire, they pursued somebody who was not only physically injured but mentally injured. So they caught me at a point where I didn't know nothing. I didn't know right from wrong, left from right. So they almost got me at that point, and I was like, just kept praying though. That's why I'm grateful for God. Like I literally went home praying, like, should I just medical retire? I think they're right. Like my arm's kind of hurting, but it didn't. And I told them, like, dude, there's something in me. God's telling me I have to stay. And their words was, we're happy you finally believe in yourself. Like, nah, are you just happy that I'm not the one that folded? But even after that, I just try to find my way through. And like I said, everything happens for a reason. And I just wasn't able to, but I still feel like I'm right where I need to be.
It's that gaslighting. You know what I mean?
For
like
sure.
Making you feel like making you question yourself for a minute. It's like, damn, like maybe I am not good enough. Maybe I am like too hurt to play. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Where it's really just they have an agenda, bro.
Yeah.
They have an agenda. Administrators, coaches, whatever role you play at an institution, there's an agenda that you have to push, and ultimately it comes down to money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the one thing that you got to realize. And my biggest advice that I'd give to players, like, just worry about yourself.
Yeah.
And then take care of yourself, and then you can contribute better to the team by taking care of yourself. What would be your advice to new players nowadays?
Yeah, well, especially at BYU or just anywhere?
Anywhere, but specifically in context to your experience at BYU.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah, we unfiltered. I don't care. But I feel like, especially coming in as a freshman, I don't know if it was just BYU or anywhere else, but I'm telling you, like, let's just say, like, just listen to Lemma, because, like, just focus on yourself and how you could better help yourself in order to help the team. Obviously, like, do everything for the team. The team winning, that's all that matters. But that won't matter if you're not at your best. And don't worry about no outside noise. Take the advice you want to take. But at the end of the day, it's your future. At the end of the day, it's your future. It's your career and it's your life. And the days that pass, we can't get back. So I would say just take it day by day with yourself and listen to yourself. Pray to God. If you're religious like me, you can find a lot of answers. But in certain institutions, you'll approach some situations where you'll realize that, for me, it felt like you have to either. There's two kinds of people that were in the institution, and it was either the one they will call the asshole, hard-headed kid who didn't. Basically, it's like you kiss ass or you don't kiss ass. And if you're kissing ass, then you'll be cool. You'll float. Like, you'll always get the benefit of the doubt.
They'll keep you around.
They'll always keep you around because you're like, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I mean? Like, you'll always be that person. Guarantee you're probably not that good. But the ones who are the hardhead ones, the ones that are independent, who will always fight, I would advise you to always make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Never give them a reason to get rid of you or punish you, because once you give that little reason, they're gonna attack it. But it just seems like if you want to make it easier on yourself, like kiss ass, and they can mess up the same way, but they're not gonna attack you that much because you listen. You know what I mean? So I honestly, we unfiltered, so that's really how it is, bro. You either kiss ass or you don't kiss ass, but make sure your shit is straight. You know what I mean?
No, that's facts, bro. And you see those players all the time, especially at my time at BYU. You saw the guys who were like asking coach, so like, this technique, like, I just wanted your advice on, like, all right, bro, like, you know the responsibility, dude. Just do your responsibility. You know what I mean? But those are the guys that they kept around a lot of the time, man. And it was frustrating to see, because I was like, dude, I know deep down I have the physical ability, I have the athleticism.
He's just not looking. You're not giving me that time of day. And I guarantee a lot of the guys who made it to the league, they weren't the kiss ass type. I promise you that. All the boys that we know, that the whole world knows, that are balling in the league, they weren't the straightaways. They weren't the ones that did everything perfect. They were the ones who kind of, but because they were good enough at football, they kind of overseen some things. So it was like double-edged sword, I guess.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, all these guys, they went undrafted, signed contracts, or they went late in the draft. Mm-hmm. And you see them balling out, and you're like, dude, this guy should have been a first or second round at least, bro.
Who you telling, bro?
So what does that mean for BYU when, you know what I mean?
I'm telling you, it can really get deep. But at the end of the day, I know, and I've talked to the people who have been successful, it was all on their own. Not like that, but it was like they focused and they really had to hone in on themselves in order to help the team, but in order to help themselves, because at the end of the day, like, it's a team sport, but you can't be part of a team if, yourself is not accountable. But everybody who made it to the league, I promise you, they did everything they could. They fought behind the scenes. Yeah. Maybe like none of the teammates seen it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is, man. It's you play it's a game, it's a business, and if you play it right, you might be lucky enough to go to the next level, but the next level will expose it real quick. Like, that's why a lot of people don't last in the league. Mm-hmm. That's why the people who get undrafted or drafted late, that's why they last long. You know what I mean? Because it's a game to be played. So I respect it, but
I feel like that was my pitfall. Was I did what the coaches wanted me to do, rather than saying to myself, you know what, fuck that. I'm not playing this stupid ass two-gap technique and waiting for the other guy to make a move on me. I should have just kind of taken matters into my own hands, made plays, and then that would have earned me some more grace with the coaches. You know what I mean?
But trying to change your technique into what they wanted you to do, it like messed yourself up, right?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I felt the same way. It took me I redshirted my freshman year because it took me a whole year to do the same leg, same hand. I'm like, bro, in high school, I was just swimming, like doing, crazy stuff, and it worked. Once I come here, you want me to act like a robot? Like, damn, it's hard, bro.
Yeah, no, frustrating parts. Well, for the last part here, we'll kind of end on this question, but in regards to like your experience at BYU, how you view your athletic career and stuff, what has that done for you in life in general?
Yeah, and like I said, once I left BYU and was in that warehouse job, I went to probably the deepest, darkest place I've ever been in my life. And once I gave it up to God, things became more clear. Because when I was going through that depression and, working warehouse, like, I kept thinking to myself, like, dude, 5 years of my life wasted. Kept looking around, like, warehouses, like the warehouse, and I'm looking around at the kind of people I was surrounded by. No offense to them. But it's like, dude, after what I just seen, what I've been through, who I've been around, like, there's no way I just end up here with all of you guys, and not in a like selfish way. It's just
I know what you're talking
about. Facts, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I put it in perspective. I was like, dude, wasted 5 years. But then once I, got over that, and God showed me that this is the course I have to be on now, I finally realized that, like if I'm gonna pursue barbering, like there's a lot of things that. Like principles that I've learned through football and BYU. There's a lot of, basically like principles that I can carry on throughout my whole life. So hopping in the barber industry, I was like, dude, let me take the aspect of competition, sacrifice, hard work. Let me bring in the barber industry and let's see how it goes. And I've honestly been killing it because I went in with the football mentality that, nobody's better than me. I'm going to compete every day. I'm going to show up early, be the last one to leave. And it's honestly helped me a lot. So I'm super grateful for my experiences. I don't regret anything that happened. Like I said, I feel like everybody's story's written, and we just need to, just follow the pages.
I love it, bro. I love it. And thank you for sharing those experiences, bro. I think that when it comes to like the audience that we have a lot of young athletes. We have a lot of youth, people in high school who watch our videos and stuff. So it's important to lay out the groundwork for them and let them know, bro, this is what you're gonna encounter, bro. These are the obstacles you're gonna face, whether it's college football, whether it's school, whether it's your job, family, friends. Like these are things that you gotta know how to navigate, bro. So I appreciate the insights there, bro.
For sure.
But hey, everyone, this is episode 15 of the Unfiltered Talk podcast, the podcast by the people, for the people, and without a filter. We'll catch y'all later.
Yes, sir.